Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we prepare to warmly welcome our VIP entourage. Walking in now, Mr. Heng Keat, Deputy Prime Minister and Coordinating Minister for Economic Policies. Welcome. With him, we have Mr. S. Iswaran, Minister for Transport and Minister in charge of Trade Relations. Also this morning, Mr. Long Ai Sing, Permanent Secretary for Ministry of Transport. Good to have you with us. And ladies and gentlemen, the Singapore Maritime Week 2022 opening ceremony will now begin. Hello there, very good morning to all of you. It's great to see your faces in this room. But first of all, please allow me to acknowledge this morning we have with us Mr. Heng Keat, Deputy Prime Minister and Coordinating Minister for Economic Policies. Good to have you. With Mr. S. Iswaran, Minister for Transport and Minister in charge of Trade Relations. Good morning. We have Mr. Chee, Senior Minister of State for Ministry of Transport. Good to have you. And Mr. Long Ai Sing, Permanent Secretary for Ministry of Transport. As well as all of you, our distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, a very, very warm welcome to the 16th edition of the Singapore Maritime Week. Now, thank you all for gracing this event with your presence and time. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm Carissa Seat. It is an honor to be your MC on this momentous occasion. Now, SMW is an annual gathering of the international maritime community to advance key industry issues and to exchange ideas to bring this sector forward. Now, driven by the Maritime and Port Authority, MPA, in collaboration with industry stakeholders, as well as research and educational institutions, SMW brings together key opinion leaders and industry leaders through conferences, dialogues, as well as forums. I'm also very pleased to announce and share with you that we are currently joined this morning by many international attendees that are on the Singapore Maritime Week's virtual platform. So you can choose to network and gain diverse perspectives by connecting with them via the SMW virtual platform. To log in, you can refer to your confirmation email that you received for this event. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now pleased to invite on stage for the opening address. Please put your hands together for Minister for Transport, Mr. S. Iswaran. Minister Iswaran, please.
Deputy Prime Minister Heng Keat, my colleague, Senior Minister of State Chee, Your Excellencies, members of the industry, my colleagues from the Maritime Port Authority and the Ministry of Transport, and ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. First, let me say it's a real pleasure to see so many of you here in person and also joining us virtually for the opening ceremony of the Singapore Maritime Week 2022. I want to extend first our deep appreciation to DPM Heng for accepting our invitation to deliver the keynote address, and also a warm welcome to all our speakers and guests and the more than 10,000 participants that the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore expects at this week's event. This is the nature and scale of this event is quite unimaginable even as recently as a few months back. So it's a real pleasure and I'm delighted to see all of you. As we know, the maritime sector is central to international trade and the global economy, accounting for over 80% of international movement of goods. It keeps global supply chains moving. This was especially evident at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when sea freight became even more important due to the sharp decline in air freight capacity. We are now seeing the green shoots of a post-pandemic recovery. global trade reached a record high in 2021, increasing by about 13% in value from 2019. But the pandemic and geopolitical developments have disrupted supply chains, and they have left a profound and lasting impact. Value chains are becoming more flexible and regional as countries and companies increasingly rebalance production to adopt a blend of just-in-time and just-in-case models. In tandem, the maritime sector is facing other challenges and constraints in terms of capacity, manpower, and carbon emissions. Taken together, these forces herald a sea change for the maritime industry. All stakeholders, from companies to governments, must respond decisively to ensure the maritime sector's reliability, resilience, and readiness for the future. And it calls for nothing less than the transformation of the industry. So this year's Singapore Maritime Week is aptly themed Transformation for Growth. And indeed, we will hear much more about this from DPN Heng in his speech. But if I may share, this transformation must encompass three essential elements: continuous innovation, boundaryless collaboration, and strong talent development. First, continuous innovation, which is key to attaining new heights in performance and capabilities. If you take the example of Singapore's Tuas Port, it is expected to be the world's largest fully automated container terminal when completed in the 2040s, with a handling capacity of 65 million TEUs. It will deliver a quantum change in efficiency and sustainability by deploying state-of-the-art equipment like automated double-trolley electric key cranes, driverless automated guided vehicles, and automated yard cranes, supported by a network of optical cameras and laser sensors. PSA continues to push the technological frontier further, developing video analytics and robotics-based solutions to reduce manual labor for coning and deconing operations at the wharf site. Our innovation efforts extend beyond the port to the wider maritime ecosystem. The most recent Smart Port Challenge in 2021 saw over 150 global startups submit their solutions to address challenges faced by the industry. Wave Air was the winner, with a solution that tapped on technology to monitor, aggregate, and standardize data across multiple sources to provide a comprehensive risk analysis and decision support system. This will enable more accurate risk assessments and simplify the insurance claims management processes in the maritime ecosystem. Continuous innovation will enable us to harness these and other technologies, such as maritime autonomous ships, additive manufacturing, and blockchain for supply chain resilience, as well as drones for the efficient transport of supplies in order to transform the industry. Secondly, boundaryless collaboration. An enduring lesson from COVID-19 is how intricately interconnected we are as a global community. It is only by collaborating across boundaries that we can address the common challenges that confront the maritime industry. The International Maritime Organization plays a central role in this endeavor. It sets the standards for the global maritime industry and creates the universal regulatory framework for safe, secure, and efficient shipping. Singapore actively supports the IMO by contributing to its governance as a council member, as well as initiatives to address the challenges and opportunities in international shipping. We have complemented the IMO's global efforts with regional initiatives. For instance, Singapore is a founding member of the Regional Cooperation Agreement on Combating Piracy and Armed Robbery Against Ships in Asia, or RECAP for short. We have hosted RECAP's Information Sharing Center since its inception in 2006. The Information Sharing Center works with the 21 member countries to disseminate information and advisories to the maritime community in a timely manner, thereby improving the security and safety of the waters in Asia. With the support of the IMO, the success of RECAP has inspired other regions to establish similar arrangements. Looking ahead, decarbonization is a major challenge for the maritime industry, and we must act today and together. As a global maritime hub, Singapore seeks to contribute to this critical effort in a flexible and inclusive way. At the multilateral level, we have been a staunch supporter and advocate of IMO-led initiatives, such as the Next-Gen Web Portal, which was launched with Singapore in September last year. The portal compiles and shares maritime decarbonization initiatives from across the world, paving the way for collaboration and capacity building across the public and private sectors to meet the IMO's targets to reduce carbon intensity of international shipping by at least 40% by 2030 and at least half total greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, both from 2008 levels. Since its launch, the portal has hosted projects with more than 500 partners. And at the plurilateral level, we support initiatives among like-minded partners that seek to galvanize action towards more ambitious outcomes. One example is the Clydebank Declaration, which was launched by the United Kingdom at the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change's 26th Conference of Parties, or COP26, in November last year. It aims to establish green shipping corridors between ports by deploying zero-emission vessel technologies on voyages or alternative fuel and charging infrastructure in ports. And in this regard, I'm pleased to announce that Singapore will join the Clydebank Declaration for Green Shipping Corridors, together with 22 other signatory states. But ultimately, decarbonization must be a whole-of-industry effort. Efforts at the company and industry level are just as important as government-led initiatives. The Castor Consortium, Itochu Corporation, and Sumitomo are leading various initiatives to develop alternative fuel ships. Singapore welcomes such industry-led collaborations to leverage our maritime hub ecosystem to pilot and deploy green solutions. Decarbonization is but one of the myriad challenges that lie ahead. We need our combined capabilities across nations and, importantly, from both the public and private sectors to chart a path forward for the maritime sector. As part of Singapore's contribution to such partnership and discourse, the Ministry of Transport and the Maritime Port Authority have established a Maritime International Advisory Panel. The panel comprises 12 cross-sector global business leaders with diverse perspectives on key trends shaping the maritime industry and how the maritime sector and adjacent industries can collaborate to enhance the connectivity and resilience of global supply chains. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to the IAP members who are with us today, and we look forward to fruitful discussions over the next 2 days. And the IAP's deliberations will complement our ongoing discussions with the industry so that we can formulate a robust, resilient strategy for our maritime sector. Finally, strong talent development underpins the transformation of the maritime industry. Over the centuries, as maritime technology has evolved, seafarers around the world have adapted, learned new skills, and honed their craft. In short, the maritime sector and its workforce are no strangers to transformation, and it is no different today. As the maritime industry pushes ahead with transformation, the nature of the jobs will change radically. Our goal is to build a maritime workforce that is future-ready and well endowed with the skills to meet the new demands of the industry. And this must be a joint effort, bringing together governments, industry, unions, and educators. It is in this spirit that Maritime Singapore is stepping up efforts to attract and nurture talent. Besides scholarships and awards to attract talent and develop locals for seafaring careers, the tripartite partners recently launched a new initiative to support the skills development of local seafarers, Sail Milestone Achievement Program, SailMap. Seafarers undergo a rigorous training program which involves seagoing journeys and onshore assessments. And in turn, and importantly, seafarers receive financial incentives when they attain key career milestones. This will support their income when they are not sailing and are building up their seafaring skills and knowledge. At the same time, we need to enable existing maritime workers and mid-career switchers to acquire skills in emerging areas such as digitalization and sustainability, and take on new or expanded roles. Our career conversion programs help mid-career workers from various backgrounds take up new roles in the sea transport sector. And since 2018, over 200 mid-career workers have undergone skills training. And even as we nurture our homegrown talent, Maritime Singapore will remain open to talent from abroad. It is only by having a judicious blend of local and foreign workers that we can secure the competitiveness of our maritime sector, attract more investments, and ultimately create more jobs. So to conclude, to succeed in the transformation of the maritime sector, we believe we must focus on the essential elements of continuous innovation, boundaryless collaboration, and strong talent development. This endeavor requires partnerships across countries and certainly between the public and private sectors. And we hope that the Singapore Maritime Week can serve as a valuable platform for that. I would like to thank all the speakers, panelists, and guests for joining us, and I would like to wish all participants a productive week ahead as we gain insights, engage in discussions, and strengthen partnerships at the Singapore Maritime Week. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Minister Iswaran. Please remain on stage as our ushers take you to the center stage for the next segment, our launch ceremony. Now, to join us here on stage for the launch of the 16th edition of the Singapore Maritime Week, I'm pleased to invite Deputy Prime Minister Mr. Heng Keat to join us. Along with him, we have Senior Minister of State Mr. Chee to join us as well. Next, I'd like to invite Chief Executive of Maritime and Port Authority, Ms. Quah Hoon. Please join us, Ms. Quah. I'll next like to invite President of Singapore Shipping Association, Ms. Caroline Young, to join us on stage. I'd like to call upon Chairman of the Singapore Maritime Foundation, Mr. Weng, to join us. And next, our President of Association of Singapore Marine Industries, Mr. Simon Kuik, to join us on stage. Now, in appreciation of our frontliners who have worked tirelessly to keep our supply chains going, I also like to invite the following up on stage. First, President of Port Officers Union, Mr. Benjamin Tang. Join us. I'd like to call upon President of the Singapore Organisation of Seamen, Mr. Kam Soon Huat, to join us as well. I'd like to invite the General Secretary of Singapore Maritime Officers Union, Ms. Mary Liu. Please come on stage. And finally, Acting President of Singapore Port Workers Union, please welcome Mr. Phua Tiong Koon. Wonderful. It is quite a reunion and glad to have everyone with us here on stage. We will have our mask on throughout this entire segment here. Now, at this point, here's a quick briefing on how we're going to do this, right? We are all, audience, together with me, going to do a countdown. And at the end of the countdown, our VIPs in front of the pedestal will then launch the button to signify the launch of the SMW 2022. So if you don't count, they don't launch. I'm just joking. They will launch. Okay? And for our VIPs in front of the pedestal, just gently place your right hand on the button without pressing it. And only at the end of the countdown, you will then trigger the button. Shall we do that? Please step forward and just place your right hand on the button. This is great for a photo moment as well. Look at our photographers. They're all waiting. Big smiles. Okay. So audience, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready, yes? Let's do the countdown together, starting from 3, 2, 1. Please, trigger the button. Here we go. A round of applause. SMW 2022 is launched. There we have it. If you like, please applaud. An exciting week ahead. To all our VIPs, we will now be taking a group photo. I'd like to invite our VIPs on the second row to just step forward to join us for a large group photo. That's right. Keep your mask on at this point. And to look ahead at our photographers. We've all learned to smile with our eyes. So that's a new skill set. Looking great. Thank you very much to our VIPs. I have a good feeling. Now you'll be exiting on the right-hand side of the stage. Our ushers will show you the way, please. As you make your way slowly down and back to your seats to enjoy the rest of this program this morning. We certainly appreciate your patience and your presence actually this morning to launch the 16th edition of the Singapore Maritime Week.